All right, welcome in for a preview of the New York Jets at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jets travel on the road to Pittsburgh, one of the worst cities in America, in my opinion. But nonetheless, Jets are 2-4, Pittsburgh 4-2. As of this game, we have to travel into Pittsburgh. And one of the good things about the Pittsburgh Steelers Stadium is when they play Renegade for the Steeler fans. If you've never been in the Steeler Stadium before, and you're going to see that and feel it for the first time, it is pretty awesome, I must say, to experience. I did experience it in the preseason, but but I did get to experience it, and it's an awesome tradition that they have in that stadium.
Did you know that if you subscribe to this YouTube channel right now, Tyron Smith will get to drink from the same Fountain of Youth elixir that Devontae Adams has imbibed from? This will allow him to go back 5 years in his career and actually block somebody. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now to enable Aaron Rodgers to stand upright and throw passes for the Jets. And if you're already subscribed, tell a friend about the channel. I see you, Harlan.
Now, in terms of these teams and how they stack up in the league so far, as far as DVOA is concerned, the total DVOA, Pittsburgh ranks 16th, the Jets 22nd. On offense, Pittsburgh has the 23rd best, the Jets 21. And on defense, Pittsburgh is number 10, and the Jets are number 16. Now, if you'll notice, I went on the Gunny show, situation report over there with Gunny Gumby, the awesome Gunny. And he asked me, he said, Frankie, do you think the Jets defense is overrated? And I said, yes. And tell me the content creator who said such a thing other than me. Wish I would been wrong, but I saw it with the defensive tackles and the run defense and the lack of adjustments and everything else. And now we're starting to get injuries piled up on top of just general badness. So anyway, even with that, we're 16th, so that's average. It's not bad. But the question was, is it overrated? And the answer, yes. Now, in terms of the Delphi power rankings, that's the Frankie rankings, where we conglomerate different power rankings. The Steelers are currently 8th, and the Jets are currently 13th in the league, even with all of the troubles and problems we have had. All of the underlying data, by the way, says that we're better than our record, but that doesn't help when you're actually 2-4. It's wins and losses. The underlying data just tells you, yeah, we've been a little unlucky this year, but that's what happens when you have a small window. If a few things go wrong, you get thrown out the window. The key personnel in this game, Pittsburgh, TJ Watt, of course, is the one that you got to watch out for. He's an elite player, superstar. What you may not know about him, he's also excellent with the peanut punch. He's an excellent peanut puncher. So he not only is a monster on the pass rush and against the run and everything else, he will also peanut punch the ball out, and he's excellent at it. He did it a couple of times in the last game against the Raiders successfully. So we got to watch for that. Ball security is job security, and we got to secure those balls because TJ Watt will punch it out. Cam Hayward is still playing at an excellent rate in the middle, the defensive tackle for them, and Minka Fitzpatrick on the back end of their defense is an elite safety, ball hawk, awesome, and their other safety is also playing well. Guys who are not playing well are their cornerbacks. On offense, you got Najee, you got the other running back, Warren, excellent, both of them. They're going to go with a combination, it looks like, of Russ Wilson starting the game, but also putting in Justin Fields for certain packages. Their O-line has been improved in the last year, for example, last year or two. This year, James Daniels has a 93 at PFF grade overall, which is excellent. Now, where they're struggling is with Broderick Jones, which is interesting. He has a 46.8 PFF grade so far. That's interesting because he's the guy taken 13th that they leapfrogged us over in that draft where we took Willie Mack, and Broderick Jones was the guy we were looking at by all reports, and he's not performing that well so far, at least. And, of course, Will McDonald has 7 sacks, second in the league. And also on their team, George Pickens, the wide receiver, is an excellent dude. He makes all sorts of acrobatic catches, so he is a guy you got to watch. Just on the PFF grades, looks like you can attack their corners if the O-line holds up, but the safeties are playing well. The corners are not playing as well, including Joey Porter, Penn State, and the son of Joey Porter, the legendary Steeler, but he's not playing that well this year. Now, they're a zone-run dominant team, and we'll see if they reverse trends and try more gap stuff against our weak defensive line. Their best yards per attempt this year is on middle right runs, which are A-gap runs, which we have trouble stopping in the first place. So that's their strength and our weakness. So I see no reason why they would stop doing that. So it's basically more up the middle runs, high volume of up the middle runs that we've been seeing. And, Jeff Ulbrich says we're going to stop it. Yeah, we'll see. Now, in terms of coaching and poaching, I'm calling it Mike Tomlin, of course, one of the longest tenured ever coaches in the NFL and considered one of the very best. His team is always over 500. In terms of poaching, what about Terrell Austin in the offseason? If things don't go the way we want this year and we get rid of everybody, including Ulbrich, maybe we take a look at Terrell Austin with the idea. Now, he's the defensive coordinator for this team, but the idea would be let's get a Mike Tomlin Jr. What about the Tomlin tree? I mean, Mike Tomlin's an amazing coach, the way he handles the media, the way he handles the players, the way the team always performs above 500. Now, the Pittsburgh fans will say, yeah, but that's great, but can we get some playoff wins, please, Mr. Tomlin? So they're a little spoiled in that regard. But we would just take some winning seasons and getting to the playoffs. So maybe we could poach somebody like a Terrell Austin. Is not a hot name, and that, is a plus for us because we don't. It's not exactly the most attractive place to go become a head coach. Look at the history of our team. But that could be one idea if things don't go the way we want. Hopefully we turn it around and we get things going and we keep Ulbrich and everything's all sunshine and rainbows. But if not, we might want to look into a Mike Tomlin lieutenant as one option to at least bring in and have a chat. Let's interview him. Let's see if we get a Mike Tomlin Jr. That'd be awesome. So Jeff Ulbrich, on the other hand, you notice that Connor Hughes is one beat reporter who's banging the drum of Jeff Ulbrich's a hot name in head coaching circles. He's the only one doing that, and you have to think that it's because he's doing the agent a favor. Because if you think about it, Connor Hughes went on the Green Bean show and told us all about how this works, and the agents will ply them with gifts to do their bidding, and then they do. And you notice Jeff Ulbrich has not gotten one interview ever in the last few seasons. He has gotten no head coaching interviews. There was interest from the 49ers for him becoming the DC, and that's simply because their coaching staff gets picked clean after every year. And so they had nobody. So they were like, maybe we could get Ulbrich, and we blocked them. But he hasn't gotten even one head coaching interview, and yet Connor Hughes tells us he's some hot commodity. Maybe he is, maybe he's not, or maybe he's just doing the agent's bidding. But nonetheless, one of the things that I think is hurting this team is the braggadociousness of the staff, which started with Saleh and continues with Ulbrich. We're about to be the best version we've ever been this year on Sunday, says Ulbrich. Well, maybe you should do something before you start bragging on your players. We got to play the run better, and we will, Ulbrich says. Okay, again, you're bragging before you're doing something. This is why players like Deion Dawkins and other people in the media, like Michael Lombardi and other players and media personalities, and these days the players and former players are becoming media personalities, either on their own or as part of networks and so forth. They don't like people who brag and then don't perform. That's not good. You could brag on your players. Maybe you do it a little too much. Maybe wait till they do something before you brag on them. For example, Ulbrich says Will McDonald is playing the run way better this year. Oh, he has a 35 run defense grade, 26 tackling grade with 60% missed tackle rate. 60% missed tackle rate for Will McDonald on the run. Sure, he's sacking the quarterback. Okay, great. But then you can't tell us that he's playing the run way better. There's no evidence of that. Those are the grades, and if you look at the film, which we all have access to, it tells you the same thing. No, he's not. So I think some of these attitudes of the current staff to just brag on players and just try to bullshit your way through a media appearance is not looking too hot. The BS factor is too high. It's like these coaches don't understand that we have the advanced metrics and we have access to game film like the All-22. The BS don't fly no more, man. So that's just something about this coaching staff. We got to keep the braggadociousness limited. So anyway, film study and tendencies. I watched the last game against the Raiders. Here are some things I noticed about the Steelers. They do have a strong screen game, including with their two strong running backs, Najee and Warren. Third and longs, Fields tends to do the check downs. Like it's 3rd and 14, and he's checking it down for a 5-yard gain. That's not good. So I think that's why they want to try with Russ, although there are some things that Fields does very well. You can run triple options with him. You can run quarterback power with him. You can run any kind of quarterback design runs with him. And he's been limiting his turnovers, so that's good. He's not costing them games that way. So I think they'll probably have a Fields package where they run some of that, but they want to try and get a little better in terms of straight up long downfield passing, which is probably why they're going to try Russ Wilson in this game. Their defense is a base 3-4 with linebackers coming up to change it to a 4-3. This is why I prefer a 3-4. You go into a 3-4, you bring a linebacker up to the line of scrimmage. Now you have a 4-3. You can't do it the other way. So the 3-4 gives you way more flexibility, in my opinion, which in today's modern NFL, I think you need. Just doing the same thing over and over and keeping it simple is not going to cut it in the modern day NFL. In my opinion, I could be wrong. They run misdirection well, which will work well against our aggressive, brainless defense, in my opinion. We preach violence and strain. That's what we preach. Instead of getting players who have violence and strain inherent in their game and then preaching discipline and technique, we preach violence and strain. So you get violence and strain, roughing the passer, dumb penalties. You get what you preach as a coach. That's the way it is. So I think Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, will run a lot of misdirection against our aggressiveness. That includes a lot of screen game and just a lot of like misdirection on runs. You pretend you're going this way, but you're actually going that way, that sort of thing. And therefore, gap integrity will be essential, both in run fits and due to quarterback mobility. Both Fields and Russ can run. Fields much better at it, but Russ can still run even at his age. So you have to have gap integrity, both in the run fits when they're running the ball and also in your rush lanes when you're rushing the quarterback on pass plays. Because if you don't have that integrity, they can gash you with their legs. And I think fire zone blitzes will be the key on our defense, including who goes into zone coverage, who's the spy, and how well do we contain both the running game and the passing game based on that. If we just try to do our normal stuff, I just don't see it being successful. I think Arthur Smith will scheme his way around our tendencies. And so the question is going to be, how much do we go against our tendencies? How much do we stick to them? Anyways, those are my keys to the game. What do you think? Tell me in the comment section down below.
You made it to the end of the video and you're not subscribed? What are you, like, crazy? Hit the subscribe button. Hit it. Frankie works hard on these videos, and all he's asking you to do is hit the subscribe button. It's free. Spank it. Spank it hard. Thank you, sweetheart.